Hey, you guys, it is summer 2024. I recognize that this video may be viewed, may have some life even beyond this summer, but I wanted to get some things out to you guys as we are looking toward the fall and some of the kind of internal things that have become very important to us and that we believe is going to be important to set us up for a future together as we move forward. I'm going to be sending you guys a series of position papers. These papers come from a church called Mariners Church. It's out on the West Coast, and they're doing a great job of taking the timeless truths of God and trying to figure out how to bring clarity and application and practice into the time-sensitive cultural issues of our day. And so they have created actually these position papers for their own church, and then they've actually turned to other churches and said, hey, you all can have these, make them your own. We don't need credit for it, and we would encourage you to use them for your own church. They've made a distinction I think is very helpful between three levels of doctrine or agreements. Level one, they say, are things like Jesus is Lord. We all have to agree on those things, or we're really not going to be in church together. I would say that those things are our belief statements, kind of our core doctrines. You can read those on our website. And there's not a lot of things in that level one bucket. Jesus is Lord is one of them. Jesus is the Son of God. That's level one. Level two would be things like these position papers. It would be our attempt to take God's truth and say, okay, let's bring clarity around how that applies out in practice, pastoral practice, living practice into our modern issues. Now, specifically on that, and you'll see some of that in the documents here, we're not asking everybody who attends Element Church or everybody that calls Element Church home to necessarily subscribe or affirm to everything in these position papers. But these position papers are for us as a core team to actually say, hey, let's make sure that we have clarity around how we're pastorally leading people and practicing these things out. And there is a certain way in which if you are in leadership or aspiring to leadership here at Element Church, you do need to subscribe and affirm these things in order for us to move together effectively. So while there are well-meaning and well-intentioned and wise, intelligent Christians who might disagree on some of these positions in these position papers, we would say you're well within the faith to disagree on some of these positions, but it'd be hard for us to run in leadership together unless we're all on the same page in this. So that's really where these come. And then just to close that out, we would say level three would be things like, hey, we can agree to disagree, and it's not really a problem for anybody, regardless of whether you call them a church home or whether you're on staff. It doesn't really matter. Those are things that are in the weeds so far that we can just agree to disagree and we can move. So what we're doing is trying to bore down on that level two stuff here. Level one, we've been good on for the whole time, right? We've got our document statement, our doctrinal statements out there. But these level two things, we want to get these laid out and clarified. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing an 8-week series this fall called On the Table, which is basically, hey, all things are on the table. And we're going to be discussing several things, but some of the topics will include human sexuality, politics, gender, race and diversity, women in ministry. And we'll be trying to get into some of these topics. We're planning on having a small group that goes in association with that. We're still working on that. But for now, the reason that I'm sending you guys this information now is one of the things we wanted to do is internally with our team, we wanted to get some of these position papers moving. And when I say moving, what I mean specifically is I've been working on taking these documents from Mariners, kind of editing them for our purposes and our context. And then I'm actually going to be giving these to you guys for you to read and to go through. And what I would like for you to do is to make comments on things that you could see as problematic areas, on things that are maybe unclear. And again, based on your involvement at Element Church, for some of you, if you're on staff, I'm going to be asking you to subscribe to these beliefs, to annually sign off and say, yes, I obviously agree on these level one things that are in our doctrinal statements, but I also affirm and subscribe to these level two things, because as a leader, we can run together in these areas. Now, again, we're not going to be asking everybody to do that, but our core leaders, we will be asking them to do that. So anyway, all of that is laid out here. I'm going to be sending you guys right now 3 documents. The first one is a position paper introduction, which kind of lays out a little bit more of what I'm talking about and kind of how we're approaching writing these papers, or I guess more specifically editing these papers for our own purposes. And then I'm going to actually be sending you the first 2 documents. The first one is on human sexuality. The second one is on politics. And I'm asking you guys to go in and actually use the comment feature in Google Docs and actually put your thoughts right into these documents, because we'd like to get these documents to a place where come fall, we can have these as kind of some internal rails for us to run on. And again, depending on your involvement in the organization, and this is laid out in the first section here, position paper introduction. You can read about what I'm talking about here, especially under number 4. But we're asking all staff and elders to subscribe to the beliefs. We're asking that all lay leader positions affirm the beliefs. And we're asking all who call Element home to respect the beliefs. And you can read about that there. So anyway, I wanted to give this out. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me, call me, text me, whatever. But I want to start getting these out to you. And I'm asking you guys to go through and read through these and give us your thoughts to the degree that you have time and ability and interest in doing. But we're going to be doing our very best to bring these into the internal world of our leadership and start giving us, as I said, some rails to run on. I will say, lastly, that these will be in some ways kind of, they'll be evolving. We'll version these through and we'll keep working on them. But again, I really believe it's important from a discipleship standpoint and also offering us as leaders to have a unified voice in some of these areas. So these first 3 documents, the introduction to the position papers, human sexuality, and politics. And I'm asking you guys to give your thoughts on these. And then I'll be following up with some additional papers on gender, race and diversity, and women in ministry. There also may be one here on the image of God. I'll be working on that. And I'll be trying to get those out to you guys soon. So let me know what questions you have. Really excited for us. Last thing that I'll say is these papers are not to pastor people. We're not just going to throw these out on the website and ask these papers to do the pastoring and the ministry for us. We'll give these papers to people if they ask. We're not hiding them. But our goal is not to put these out for everybody to contend with. The goal for these papers is for us to use them internally with our team, not to pastor. These don't pastor people. We pastor from these documents to people. So we're still doing the work of pastoring and leading, but hopefully these can give us some rails to run on internally, and hopefully that makes sense for you guys. So really excited about this, and really excited for us to get on the same page as leaders together, but then also really excited for us then to actually take this and in a certain way kind of push it out to our people this fall. Again, the position papers are for us as a team, and then running it out this fall is for everybody to kind of contend with these ideas. And again, not asking them to necessarily subscribe to everything that we're sharing, but to say, hey, this is our belief on how these things could walk out into these cultural issues. So let me know what questions you have. Love you guys so much. I'll share this video with you, and then I'll share these position papers, looking for your comments and your thoughts. Love you all so much. Appreciate you so much. Thankful to God for each and every one of you, and cannot wait to this fall. And honestly, really even this summer, to see all that God is going to do in our hearts as we put our attention toward these things. So love you guys so much. Talk to you soon.